timed my retirement. It kind of coincided my circumstances with the ending of what I thought was the ending of the ISIS Khan Minto court proceedings. Well, the last court proceeding was 3 days of special hearings. Now, I thought that was where the orders were going to be given for his incarceration as a mental patient, or even release as a mental patient, whatever they're going to do. But that was where they were going to negotiate the terms of, his punishment in regards to his mental instability, because he, was unfit to stand trial. So, I've safely assumed, okay, well, that's it then. It's all been wrapped up. And I don't know why I did it. I just thought, look, surely not, right? Surely fucking not. This thing is still going. Anyway, there it is. Case number 2016, number, ISIS card, and 15th of November. and look what it's up for mention. Now, if we have a quick look at what mention is, I've mentioned it, funnily enough, use the same terminology before, but I'll just quickly go over it again. Here it is, the mention. If you read that second paragraph there, this is the first time you go to court. It's called a mention. I distinctly recall other times that this case has been to court before. I just vaguely remember something about sitting in a courtroom a couple of times. Anyway, the purpose of the mention is for the court to find out whether you want to plead guilty or not guilty. Presumably, Justice Bilu looked at all of those psych reports dating back to the very first earliest ones back in the beginning of 2017, getting up to close to 2 years ago now, and all the ones that he ordered during the trial, and they've all come to him, and he's looked at them all, and during that special hearing, he's decided, okay, this is not a mental illness case, he's going to stand trial. So he's now coming up for mention. So hopefully we're not back right at the start of the very first court hearing, but it still may be the case. Who's to say his defence won't have a different psychological report or psychiatric report done? Because, look, psychiatry is a very complicated area, and you can have many differing opinions and new theories, and new research comes up with new all the time. In the space of 2 years, they can come up with new ailments and new words for different things that afflict people psychiatrically. So, I wouldn't rule out another, down the mental health path with some more reviews. I really wouldn't. Look, because obviously, look, if this was real, and I've mentioned it before, you had one perpetrator, one victim who was lightly injured, a heap of witnesses, and all this evidence that he was a terrorist when he was laying on the ground with the taser. I do this for Iraq and whatever else, and they found all that paraphernalia. So they've got all the elements of the offence to prove it. So they would have assessed him at the local court. Yes, he's mentally unfit. Gone to the Supreme Court. Without the intervention of the AFP, they would have just gone through. They do it all the time, and it would have been wrapped up within probably 18 months at max. Like I said, with just one perpetrator and one person, and a couple of psych reports. Yeah, he can't stand trial, or he can, and they put the brief up, and it would be over very quickly. But so obviously it's not real. So there are three distinct possibilities. I'll go with the most likely one, that they're just keeping this in the courts, running it through another cycle of mention, psych reports and criminal convictions, or yes or no, and then they might even do that a couple of times for the sole purpose of being able to have the news reporters run more footage of that, of us waving his knife, more to-do music, for the real and ongoing effect. Look, they don't need to stage new ones because they've already got the wheel spinning. They've got the laws in place, but they just need to keep it, just tap the wheel to keep it spinning up until first the bail out and then the bail in, where they just take all our money and machine guns come out. That's what they need to do. That's the most likely scenario. The second most likely scenario is that, see, look, they use these guys like ISIS Khan and Jimmy G as patsies, but they make out like they're in on it, but they don't tell them the whole truth. They just tell them partial truth just to get them in, and then they don't tell them exactly what's going on. So these guys go along with it with whatever promises they've made, which is, if they actual, believe in, because a lot of these guys are low IQ, they pick them for that reason, and they easily manipulated, and they can say, oh, it'll give ISIS a high profile or whatever bait they use, plus any monetary reward they want to give them. So these guys come on board, but then they start to discover that they haven't been told the whole truth, and they start to go against what's going on. I think when Jimmy G, he started yelling at Illuminati in court and was uh, get his message out that it was all a big setup, and then they've now got him mentally unwell, and you're never going to see him again. Same as ISIS, he might be suddenly deciding, look, I'm not going along with this anymore. I'm not doing any more video links to court. I'm not going to go along with this because you've been lying to me, because he's figured it out, and they've so what they need to take care of him. So they might actually run it as a criminal trial instead of as a mental health, because he might not have agreed with their mental health outcomes. They might have lied to him, and he's saying no, no, no. So now they're going to just run him through the criminal and then put him in jail. Either that or kill him, but either way, take him out. So that's the second scenario. The third scenario, which I think is the least likely, is that this Bellew guy either has no clue or has a clue and has decided to try and run it as a real case. Now, once he does that, all of that bullshit about, all the blood and the taser, where he's like, any judge could see that taser footage was a load of bullshit. So, because that's obviously been released, that got sort of caught up into court. So he may be trying to run it like that. But look, ultimately, this is about trillions and trillions of dollars, this bail-in. And a couple of lives here and there, they don't care. So Bellew better watch himself if he thinks that's what he's going to do. But like I said, that's the least likely. I think it's the first scenario, real and ongoing. All right, that's it.